Hey folks, welcome back or welcome to Lone Pine Tarot for the very first time if you're brand new here. And thank you so much for joining me today for our pick a card reading on a very healing topic, because today we're asking the universe, what are you breaking free from that you don't even see yet? So quite straightforward, let's get to choosing our pile leaders to guide the messages today. So calling on Spirit, please guide us to the right cards for each pile to choose their messages with. Thank you. Okay, well, there's pile 1 for sure. Quite prominently flew out. And I take that as a sign. So there's pile 1. Pile number 2. And pile number 3. All right, and let's unveil the pile leaders together. So for pile number 1 over here on the left, your leader today is the card of potential. There we go. For pile number 2 here in the middle, your pile leader today is the card of intuition. And last but not least, for pile number 3 over here on the right, your pile leader today is Perceptive. There we go. So quick refresher, pile 1, potential, pile 2, intuition, and pile 3 is perceptive. But as I always say, you're completely welcome to pause right now at this part of the video if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you. If you're new to pick a card readings and you want my just little hint of advice, I always say go with your gut, go with your intuition. What card feels right when you look at it? You'll kind of feel it down in your stomach, in your solar plexus, or like I said, your gut, whatever phrase you want to use. And that is the message I suggest that you select today. But whatever your method, you can even choose what looks the coolest to you. That works too. Drop down to the description box below or the top pinned comment beneath the reading. Find the timestamp for your pile there. And I'll see you in our chat about what you're breaking free from that you don't even see yet. See you in your reading. Hello there, pile number 1. Welcome to your pick a card reading about what you're breaking free from that you don't even see yet. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to potential as your pile leader card today. And the keywords down here represent the differences between different kinds of potential. We have the idea of being confined and the idea of being infinite. So I almost wonder, pile number 1, if at least one aspect of your reading, though of course we'll see other details as other cards pop up, but with this card at least I'm seeing it's a question of a prison of believing in limitations. It's a breakthrough beyond what you think you're capable of or what you thought was possible, because like the keyword said, we have confined over here, being kind of stuck in this small space, kind of being, maybe even comfortable with it sometimes, because yes, it's more manageable when we confine ourselves to smaller potentials, but on the other hand, with infinite over here on the right of that part of the keyword of the card, the sky is basically the limit. So I think what you're breaking through, pile 1, is something to do with, well, your potential. But yeah, let's see what other cards pop up to get more clarity and context. We're going to start with both of our tarot decks today. We have the Pastoral and the Tarot of the Divine today. And especially this deck will give us more clarity on how you fit into this situation of what you're breaking through. Maybe you've been trying to start like something off the ground, like a business, pile number 1, or very possibly it could be like believing in yourself in some way. Perhaps lately you felt like your self-esteem or your confidence in something that normally like you don't lack self-esteem in has been knocked down for some reason, or maybe it's something you even struggled with your whole life. That happens too. It could be like more of a lifelong purpose type reading as well when it comes to whether or not you believe in your potential. But of course we'll get more context with the cards, as I said. Okay, so split the deck. And there's 5. All right, let's reveal your first set of cards, pile 1. So looking at your Pastoral Tarot today, you received the 5 of Cups. We have a girl next to a cow, and she spilled milk. Now, of course, the old phrase goes in English, there's no use in crying over spilled milk, but that's exactly what we see here. It's spilled, and she's crying, but what she doesn't realize, and this is always the really cool aspect of the Five of Cups, pile number 1, is that, yes, it means a time of loss or something of sorrow. Something happened, we're upset, we've lost something, yes, technically, but it also tends to represent the silver lining and or things that are still going well that we don't realize. So especially with this deck is great at illustrating the different meanings of the cards. Love this deck. But like literally, so she spilled the milk. Yes, she's crying and she's upset, but the cow is fine. She's like, well, I can just make more, right? And the cats are having a grand old time because they're like, oh man, we have spilled milk to drink, and cats love that, right? And then also over here on the left, well, she only spilled 2 of them, really. She actually has 3 more that are still filled. So I think part of this, too, is I think you had some, like, loss or sorrow recently, pile number 1, you know, in conjunction with this idea of potential. And that's probably what knocked your confidence in yourself. You thought, oh, my God, you know, I lost my job, or this business idea I had didn't work out, or maybe if it's, like, relationship related, especially with cups, because cups tend to deal with emotions and relationships as the emotion suit of tarot, right? Maybe, you know, had a bad breakup and it knocked your confidence in your ability to believe in yourself as a good partner. Like maybe it just really brought down your self-esteem and your belief in yourself in that way. Because especially when this is what I like to use this particular tarot deck for in my spreads, is a card that represents your mind state right now. So it's just this mind state of, oh my God, I spilled the milk. What did I do? And then, like I said, tying that to your potential, you're not realizing that there's other things around you that aren't spilled or completely lost. So I think part of this reading we'll see with the other tarot cards, but it's going to highlight what you haven't lost, what still has potential, okay? And that will break you free from this mindset of everything is gone or everything has gone awry. Okay, so let's look at the first card, the inciting incident I like to use, or call my first card in my spread. We have the Hierophant reversed. Now, upright, the Hierophant is often about traditions, things passed down. That's why we have, I believe her name is White Buffalo Woman, right, from Native American folklore. But reversed, it's about bucking tradition. It can also mean letting go of older things or older values. It can also mean letting go of the authority of other things upon our spirit. So, I mean, that can represent in a way of like letting go of the authority of outside influences and how you feel about your own spirit, especially after times of loss that, you know, knock your belief in your own potential, okay? It can also mean that this all stemmed from a time where, you know, sometimes the Hierophant reversed can mean letting go of family traditions. I do see that with my readings every once in a while. So maybe there was something passed down to you from a family member that you thought like you had lost or like you didn't carry on the tradition well enough. Or it could also mean something that you traditionally were very, very good at. But then this one, you know, chink in the armor occurred and you were like, oh, man, maybe I'm not so good at this anymore. Maybe I've broken the tradition of my good streak of luck or good success with whatever this is. Okay, so that's the energy we're seeing here right off the bat. In which case, I do want to remind you, I mean, we all know this pile number 1, but nobody's perfect, okay? Everybody makes mistakes, and I know, I mean, that's obvious advice that anyone would give you, but sometimes we just need to remind ourselves of even the simplest things like that, because we get so entrenched in this mindset of, oh no, everything's going wrong, that we, you know, things go wrong for everybody all the time. Not to minimize your pain, pile number 1, of course, not to do that, but at the same time, sometimes we blow things out of proportion. Number 2, we have, the King of Wands in the recent past. So, King of Wands, I believe this is technically it looks like more of an Eastern Phoenix to me, is the master of fire in tarot. He is the master of confidence, of ambition, of creativity, things like that. So, in the recent past, the fact that the King of Wands is upright tells me that you're already kind of on the mend from whatever this loss was, pile 1. I almost wonder if like you're already kind of on the recovery trajectory of your self-esteem or your confidence from whatever had happened here, okay? So I think you're on the way to believing in your potential again, but it might even be like a greater trajectory of potential than you thought before. So it's almost like technically you're out of like the initial little cage of limiting beliefs, but now even more we'll see, of course, with the present card, which is coming next, and then also the near future, and then the outcome with the other 2 cards at the end, where this is all going. Like, what's the bigger picture here rather than just, you know, recovering from whatever this setback was. Then in the middle, we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, that can mean working too hard. It can mean putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into something, but not getting out of our hard work what we put in, okay? Especially like with this, and this is why I love this particular depiction of the Eight of Pentacles with this deck. I don't remember what fairy tale it's from, but you see she's mending these different pentacles, but they're made of thorns, and that's why her hands are red, and they're, well, man, they're even bloody. I mean, she's crying, and her feet are bloody too. It's like she's working so hard, but what is it costing her, okay? What is she actually getting out of it? Is it worth it to give that blood, sweat, and tears to this thing? So I think you might even be not only at the point of like recovering, at least in terms of your confidence with whatever happened, pile number one, but now I think you're almost wondering, well, is it even worth it in the end? Not even just like beyond an emotional aspect of believing in yourself, but like the whole goal that you've had in mind with your potential, the thing that you wanted to set out to do or create, okay? Interesting energy. We'll see what comes up in the near future here. So now we're getting to like the predictive part. We have the Three of Pentacles. Okay. So part of the breakthrough, and I know we haven't even talked about the breakthrough yet, but this is where the future comes in, pile number one. The breakthrough is through the help of other people. I think other people are going to come forward and help you with this, because the Three of Pentacles is often about teamwork. It's about collaboration. It's about working together with others of similar mindsets, okay? So I think really what's going to get you out of this pile one is the help of other people. And I know a lot of us like to rely on ourselves, and I think a lot of times we pride ourselves on being able to achieve things all on our own. But it's never a shame, and it's never a mark of shame in general to rely on other people. I think a lot of people struggle with that, especially if you're very independent-minded. But it could be them literally helping you with the project itself. It could literally be just like help from an external source that you didn't necessarily expect. It could also even be just emotional support. Maybe even if it's not someone helping you like monetarily with your goal, or helping you with like action steps taken towards whatever goal is here that you feel like you lost the potential in, okay? They're going to come along and someone's going to help you. Let's look at the final outcome here. We also have, okay, the Lovers reversed. And when I read a reading where things are going to improve, especially like when it's like future-oriented cards, I read reversals as the thing that's going to change, that's off kilter right now. So you have the Lovers reversed. So normally I would read that as, a bad relationship, or more traditionally, a bad choice. But because this is what's going to improve, there's a relationship that's going to improve. It could be the relationship literally with yourself. I do read it that way. It could be a relationship improved with a friend. I read it platonically as well. Literally, especially if this is like a relationship-oriented reading for you in a romantic way, maybe that's kind of what you're feeling a loss of. That can mean part of who's going to come in and help you is someone that not only will help you with the thing that you're trying to achieve, but also someone that might be a potential romantic partner. Okay, maybe that's why you even connect in the first place, because it's like, networking, and you're working together on something, and then it kind of leads to something like that. Okay, or in general, it can mean if it's not romantic related for you, pile one, part of this teamwork that's coming your way is going to, like I said, that's what's going to be the key to opening the door of the breakthrough that you're not expecting, or you don't even see yet, like, the title of the reading says. But really the end key here is that will open you up to being able to make a choice, and then also improving your relationships with others, okay? And the choice, I believe, is the ability to move beyond this belief in limiting of, your limiting beliefs of caging yourself in, tying your identity to whatever this loss or this sorrow was, okay? Because sometimes we, unfortunately, but it does happen psychologically, we identify ourselves with our mistakes, or we identify ourselves with our flaws, or we identify ourselves with, like our losses, okay? And sometimes that can be, positive, because we do learn from mistakes in a positive way sometimes, but sometimes we're too self-critical, and that's when it becomes too much of a burden upon our heart, okay? So I think we'll see what the other cards say, but I think whoever this is that works with you, or it could even be a whole group of people, like Three of Pentacles often means, they just, like, they boost your spirits, and they help you see in your potential again, okay? And they give you that choice to do so, because it's like they open, I mean, the imagery I'm seeing intuitively is almost like they're opening the blinds for you. Like right now you've got blinders on, you're kind of blocking out the light of the truth of this, and then you're kind of recovering already, like I said, with the King of Wands in the recent past, but this is like a whole new world of potential and belief in yourself here through the help of other people. Okay, now let's look at your other oracle cards to finish off the reading here. I'm going to look at the Lantern Oracle first. This will kind of also highlight, and this is why I love this deck, it highlights what tends to be like limiting beliefs, or it's kind of a shadow work deck, although I like to use it for different aspects of different kinds of readings. But we have, oh my god, look at that pile number 1. I swear to God, I'm sorry. You know, I love when I see synchronicities in readings, but sometimes it just leads to repetition because I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over again. But you know what? The good news is that you know that because it's repeated, it's being really emphasized. We have another card about sharing work together and teamwork. I actually didn't even read that off for you. I'm sorry. Here, I'll hold it in the middle. Sharing, number 33. There is giving and receiving and giving. Remember when I said there's a group of people that might come forward to help you? We literally have a group of people sharing the harvest together. So that ties into not believing in being, or in thinking that you're a burden if you reach out and ask for help for other people, or if they like reach out to you and say, hey, do you need help with this? Pile number 1, okay? It's a card that not only reminds us of the beauty of community, and even like how integral it is to us as a species, right? Humans do not survive in silos. That's just not, at least the traditional way that we lived, you know, think cave people, right? You didn't often live if you didn't have a society. It's so ingrained in our being to connect to other people and help others and have them help us in return. Reciprocal communal relationships. And that is what's being emphasized in this reading. So not only did we see that with the 3 of Pentacles here, for sure, but now it's emphasized again in the Lantern Oracle. Specifically, it's Spirit reaching out to you, pile 1, and saying, do not hesitate whatsoever to take that help when it comes, okay? Put your pride away. Put your independence away just a little bit, you know? At least enough to say, hey, yeah, you know what? I do need help, and take that helping hand when it comes, because that's what's going to be the breakthrough that you're looking for. That's what you're breaking free from, is working alone, not believing in yourself, not having enough help, to I have help. There's people that support me. There's a community that helps me believe in myself. Things like that. Okay. And then last but not least, we have the Healing Spirits Oracle. Also a beautiful deck. What else do you have to say, Spirit, about their breakthrough? You have the ability to affect your own destiny, number 41. And if that doesn't tie into back to your pile leader about potential, I don't know what does, pile number 1, okay? Not only, you know, do we have a message about potential literally in, you know, either believing in having those limiting beliefs and, oh, I have no potential, or my idea has no potential, and then expanding that to, like the keyword says here, infinite. I have infinite potential. I can achieve my dreams. More affirmative things that you might say to yourself mentally that help you grow in the direction of the goals that you're trying to achieve, okay? But especially with this card right here, Healing Spirits Oracle, you have the ability to affect your own destiny. That is Spirit saying, pile number 1, you have the potential for this. So if you've been doubting yourself recently about anything that you're trying to achieve, I don't care if it's getting a degree, I don't care, or certification, whatever, apprenticeship, I don't care if it's finding new love after love failed you in the past. I don't care if it's a business that you're trying to get off the ground, a goal in mind, ambition, whatever have you. Insert whatever you feel like you're not good enough for here. You are good enough, pile number 1. I know it's cliche, but once again, it's one of those things that it seems simple, but we have to remind ourselves sometimes, because sometimes we just, you know, not to your own detriment, or I'm sorry, well, I guess it is to your own detriment, but what I meant to say was not to your own fault, pile number 1. We all do that all the time. A lot of people let things affect their belief in their own potential, but Spirit is really saying you have something here. Really, all you need is just a nudge and a help from other people and being willing to take it, and the sky is the limit with whatever it is you're trying to achieve, okay? So just remember that. Even just say it as an affirmation every morning. I know it sounds corny, but look in the mirror and say, I have the ability to affect my own destiny. The control is in your hands, okay? And that's the breakthrough that's coming for you, okay? That's what you're breaking free from that you don't even see yet, like I said, tying it back into the title of the reading. Beautiful. So have confidence, pile 1. Believe that other people will help you, that other people believe in you. And don't be afraid to take help when it's offered to you, okay? So that is your reading for today, pile number 1. I hope that you liked it, and of course, most of all, that it resonated and helped you. And if so, please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet. And as I always say with our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 1. Hello there, my wonderful pile number 2. Welcome to your pick a card reading today about what you're breaking free from that you don't even see yet. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the pile leader of intuition as your pile leader today. So this card is all about understanding where to go. It's about understanding the direction we're moving in. And the keywords down here at the bottom are interesting because, as with all the cards in this particular deck, they're two polar opposites. We have confused on one hand and we have clear on the other. So I almost wonder if recently you've been going through a time of a lot of confusion, a time of a lot of, uncertainty. Maybe you're not quite sure where you want to go with a certain goal that you have in mind, or maybe some monkey wrench has been thrown into everything that you had plans for, and you've had to kind of pivot in a different direction. And you're like, I don't even know what to do. Just in general, I feel like the situation that this reading is going to speak about is clearing the fog of that confusion to bring you to clarity. However, I think because the card is intuition, that's the main keyword, you already kind of know where to go deep down. Maybe you just don't quite trust your gut yet. So we'll see more context about what's going on here. That's going to be kind of the first half of the reading. And then in the second half of the reading, we'll see more about where is this going, as well as how are you breaking free from this confusion and this sort of fog of war, right? So we'll put this over here to the left as we always do with pile leaders. And let's start with the tarot decks. So, calling on Spirit, using the Pastoral Tarot today, as well as the Tarot of the Divine. Can you give us more context about what's going on here? Oh boy. No, I can't take 4 cards, because I only meant to take 1 for this particular reading. So, we'll shuffle once more, and then we'll cut the deck in half and take it. There we go. Perfect. I wish I had all the desk space in the world to pick every card that pops out, or flies out, I should say, but unfortunately we are a little bit limited. Maybe someday I'll update my reading desk space to have more room, but until then, I always have kind of a set amount of cards to choose. Now, let's unveil your tarot cards and understand more about the situation. So first up with the Pastoral Tarot, we have Death. Okay. Now, for those of you not familiar with tarot, death doesn't always mean death. Oftentimes, really what it means is a time of pivotal change. It's a time from going from one chapter of your life into the next, okay? I mean, you can literally see that as, literal death, because that's what death is. It's just moving from one side of a door to another, but in the metaphorical sense here, I think what's happening, pile 2 for you, is that you are moving between 2 different phases of life. I think that's maybe where this confusion is coming from. You don't know exactly where to go. You're like, I have this new chapter, or I know I need to close this old chapter and move somewhere, but how do I make this transition? That's another really good keyword to use with the Death card, is transitions, okay? Just like death is, right? And we have, let's see, it's a crow on a tombstone, and it's very interesting, and this is why I love this deck to pieces, there's many different reasons, but it's so good at showing the meaning of the card, because on this side of the card you have verdant life, we have flowers, and then on the other side we have almost an opposite season of winter when the trees are bare. It could even just be spring too, which is also a very symbolic time of change, or autumn as well, we're moving from one phase into the other. So it's kind of like you're moving between different seasons of life, pile 2, and it's kind of left you kind of confused. You're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to navigate this. So let's get some more context with the inciting incident card. We have the King of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so how I would read that as the inciting incident is like, what kind of kicked this all off? And what I'm seeing here, pile 2, is a time of material insecurity. That can mean, maybe you had a loss regarding your job or your finances, or you had a really big bill that came along and you kind of whacked up your finances in general, or it could also be something along the lines of like health, or it can be something to do with the home or your career. Maybe you're lost in knowing where to go next with your career. Maybe you left a job and you're like, should I start a new chapter instead of going to something similar and staying in the old? It could be something along those lines. But whatever it is, it's something earthly or material, pile 2. That's what the Pentacle suit and Tarot represents. So let's keep going and see what else pops up. Next up is the recent past. We have the Fool. Okay, so you know what, pile 2? I think you already started the adventure, the new journey into the unknown, because that's what the Fool is all about. We have the beginning of a new chapter. We have someone that takes a risk and starts going forward into something new. Okay, so in terms of, going forward with the, like the seasonal metaphor we were using, you're already in the spring. You're already starting something new. You're in the spring of something where the old thing died, metaphorically speaking, and now you're trying to get things to grow in a new direction. Okay, I think maybe that's too where you're being confused, or maybe like, did I make the right choice? Is this going to work out? Am I taking too much of a risk? Because that's another keyword we use with the Fool, is a risk. Okay? It didn't come out reversed. So I think what I'm hearing from Spirit, especially because it's not reversed here in the past, you have made a good choice, pile number 2. So be happy with that, or be at least assured with that. Okay? The Fool is upright. I think you made a great choice if you chose a new adventure. But let's look at the heart of the matter, or the present position. We have the King of Swords reversed. Okay, yep, but you're second guessing it, aren't you, pile number 2? You're second guessing it. Look at you. I mean, I'm not, no shame. We all do this, pile number 2. So whenever I say things like that, it's not like I've never done this myself, or like anybody else watching this is, I guarantee you, if every single person in the comments down below right now was asked, have you ever second guessed yourself, every single person would be like, yep. In that case, you're not alone, pile 2. We all do this, but the King of Swords reversed represents someone who they think they have an action planned out, because a King of Swords is someone who thinks logically, someone who is very outwardly communicative of their plans, right? Someone who is thinking tactfully, like you would almost move chess pieces on a board. But reversed, it's kind of out of whack a little bit. It's a little bit of, I'm confused, I'm second guessing, was my logic right? I don't know what to do. I think that's where you're not trusting your intuition here, pile number 2. I think that's why intuition popped up. Look at you, journeying off into the unknown, and then you're looking back and being like, well, wait a minute, did I make the right choice? It's kind of like, and this is why I like to use narrative terms with tarot, because I think every single person can relate to a story, because everybody's listened to a story, everybody's read a book, or like listened to a book, watched a movie, played a video game. Wherever you digest narrative material, pile 2, every single person has done so. And this is why I like this spread, because it's like where you are right now with that King of Swords reversed is like, oh, I'm off on an adventure like a hero would be, and then it's like the hero, aka you right now, all of a sudden turns around and is like, oh crap, did I make the right decision? And that's very common in stories too, pile 2. Because how many times have you heard or read or watched a story where a hero sets off and they're going off into the unknown and they're hesitant to accept what we call the call to adventure, right? They're hesitant to accept, oh, is this the right thing to do? Okay. That's part of the narrative tension of what we call the first act. And that's where you are right now in your story, pile 2. You haven't accepted the call to adventure yet. You've gone on it, technically, but you're still looking back and you're like, I don't know. I'm confused. What do I do? Was this the right thing? And then we'll see what your future cards say. But typically what happens in the stories of heroes, that's why I like to use this metaphor with you and like all of my readings, is because I think we're all heroes on our own journey in our own story. After they find that hesitation and that confusion about, did I make the right choice going off on this new adventure? Oftentimes, they accept the call to adventure and they break into Act 2, where they're like, okay, instead of running away from something or instead of looking back while I'm starting my adventure, Now I turn around and I look forward. I finally move from that transition of the old into the new. Okay. The action's been taken, but maybe mentally and emotionally, you're not quite there yet of accepting this new adventure. So let's look at the near future, and this is where we're going to get into the breakthrough, what you're breaking free from. So near future, we have the Tower. Okay, interesting. And I know a lot of you familiar with tarot are going to be like, uh-oh, that looks bad, but just hear me out, pile number 2. I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing, because when I read a reading like this that is, you know, kind of like a blessing reading, or kind of like it's like what's changing for the better, like we said, what you're going to break free from, I tend to read negative cards in a more positive way, because we're asking Spirit, well, what's improving here? And the Tower traditionally, yes, means a disaster. Not so good, but hear me out. I think what this means is that something is going to be foundationally shaking you to your core in a good way that convinces you to let go of that confusion and just keep going forward with whatever adventure you've embarked on, okay? And that actually often happens in stories too. Usually there's something that kind of shakes the hero into realizing, oh yes, I need to go on this adventure, so then they accept the call. So it's like you're going to have something happen here. And you're going to realize this is right for me. And when I say disaster, that doesn't necessarily mean like something really bad is going to happen. Pile 2 is, like I said, especially in this kind of reading, it's more just something that shakes you to your core. It kind of brings down the tower of the foundation of like what you've based your beliefs on so far. And I think what that really means is, pile 2, translating it back to the title of the reading, you're going to trust your intuition. You're going to trust your gut. You're going to say, you know what? I was right to go on this adventure. Something is going to show you. I mean, it could even be like, say it was like a job change, pile number 2. A Tower moment in that way, in a positive way, can even mean that maybe you realize the job or the career you left falls apart and you were very lucky to have dodged that bullet, having moved on before it fell apart. Otherwise, you would have been in a worse situation. Like, that's one example of like a positive Tower twist here, okay? And then you accept the call to adventure because you're like, well, I can't go back there now because that thing doesn't exist anymore, or that thing fell apart. Okay, that's what's going to help you break through this mental boundary and help you understand and believe more in your own intuition. And the final outcome is the 5 of Wands reversed. Beautiful. And you know what that means, pile number 2? Is letting go, and this sounds weird right away, but hear me out. Letting go of competition. Letting go of battle of wills, of battle of ego, okay? Oftentimes it represents like competing people with each other. I think how I would read this for your situation is it's competing thoughts in your head finally cooling down, okay? And that's going to break you or get you to that breakthrough that we're talking about, that mental hesitation to keep going forward with your adventure. It's going to be like there literally is no competition. I mean, I wonder if it really is like some of you realize that, say, if you did leave a job, just as one example, you literally can't go back because, like, that company falls or that career is fundamentally changed, which does happen often today in our very rapidly changing world with, say, like, AI and other things, okay? Like, there's so many different job changes right now and industry changes, okay? So literally, like, it's like there's no more competition, and then it's like, you know in your mind, okay, I know this is the path I have to go on because this is the path I have to go on, okay? You know, changing the context a bit with the way that I emphasize each word, right? You have to go on this adventure. You're a hero that understands I have to go on this adventure, okay? In a positive way, okay? Making a positive transitional change. So really the breakthrough, pile 2, I'm seeing, of course, well, we have 2 other oracle cards to pull, so we'll get a little bit more details, but the breakthrough I'm seeing for you is a mental breakthrough of understanding you are on the right path. Okay, I think you already know that. Like I said, the intuition part, you already know you're on the right path. But sometimes, you know, ego can get in the way. Sometimes doubt can get in the way. That tower will fall, and there'll be no more competition in your mind for even thinking that there is any other choice in a positive way. It's not like, oh, you're going to be trapped in this choice. It's I know this choice is right for me. Just like a hero accepting the call to adventure. Now, let's look at your other cards. We have the Lantern Oracle next. Fantastic deck that delves into mindset things. Sometimes, you know, a lot of people use it as a shadow work deck. I like to use it for multiple applications, but we have Inner life, number 43. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. You know, I wonder if part of this too, pile 2, is you are moving towards a direction that is more healthy for your spirit. I don't know if where you were before the transitional change was just deadening to your soul. I mean, that can happen a lot with different jobs, obviously. Like, a lot of people complain, like, oh, God, I hate my job, right? And where you're going now is a lot more rich and fertile for the growth of your spirit, or at least it's more in conjunction and deeply connected to who you are and your purpose on a spirit soul level, okay? I think, too, this is a little bit of a hint, if there were any advice in this reading, that you would come to this conclusion faster if you were to meditate on it. Maybe you've been kind of avoiding thinking about it, because, you know, sometimes when we start out on a new adventure, pile 2, we don't even think about, like, the leap that we're taking, because it's almost too scary to think about it. Sometimes we just shut our brain off, and we're just like, okay, shut the brain off, I'm going to take the leap of faith. Who knows what'll happen, but sometimes when we reflect and we think about it even more, about, like, the philosophy of what we're doing, what is the spiritual meaning of what we're doing, we realize, well, it's not really that scary to ponder over. Sometimes it makes it even less scary when we think about it more, because, at least in terms of through a spiritual lens, because we realize, oh, this was the right choice for me. Okay, also getting in tune with your intuition more, because that's what your pile leader basically is saying, is to tune into that more, okay? That will help clear this fog as well of confusion of not being sure you made the right choice, okay? So tune in with, I'm hearing guardian angels for some specific reason. I don't know if any of you already have a meditation practice. I know a lot of you, I've read before in my comments, you do, but if you can, try a guided meditation for guardian angels. Which also means, pile number 2, that you're really heavily protected in this time. Of course, you are 24/7 anyways with guardian angels, but I think they know the struggle you've been going through and how scared you might feel, and so they're very close right now, and I think it would be a good idea to tune in with them a little bit more. But it's also a sign when, you know, Spirit says, look at this more in a spiritual lens. You're on the right path, pile 2, because it was meant in your life story and your life purpose, what you came here for, to do this thing, okay? It's in the DNA of your soul, so to speak. Then from the Healing Spirits Oracle, okay, beautiful. How fitting, pile 2. Your path may be bumpy, but this will alter soon. How fitting. I know I just said it, but you know what? I love when synchronicities like this come out. I swear to God, like most of my readings, this happens. I'll say something and then a card comes out later that's like the same confirmation. It's just beautiful. Just the blossoming of the message as it goes on. Yeah, your path may be bumpy, but this will alter soon. So I know things are kind of bumpy right now, pile 2. Maybe that's another reason why you've been doubting your intuition. You think, oh man, everything hasn't been smooth. Like, I don't know, is there writing on the wall that I'm seeing? Or is it like I'm just imagining things? Maybe you've met some obstacles along the way to your new goal and your new adventure, which is very common. Same thing with heroes on an adventure, using the narrative metaphor again. Has any story that you've ever read or watched had a hero not meet any conflict whatsoever? Well, of course, the answer is no, because you wouldn't have a story without the conflict, right? Conflict is inevitable, which is, you know, I wish it wasn't. We all do. We all wish it wasn't inevitable to have some obstacles and bumps along the road, but we do. But the beautiful thing is, pile number 2, is that we might have bumps and we might have valleys, but we also have highs and smooth roads afterwards. And this is what this reading is saying. The bumpy path is, well, kind of making you disconcerted right now, but it'll smooth out soon. So that also will help you with this breakthrough, what you're breaking free from. That might even be the kind of the triggering moment that changes your mindset here and helps propel you even more forward, okay? So really, just to summarize your whole reading, pile 2, you know, what you're breaking free from is not only the struggle of a transition in terms of external obstacles and bumpy roads, but the internal struggle of a transition of, you know, at first maybe doubting yourself, not trusting your gut, and then switching along the way because of external validation towards, yes, this was the right choice. Now I accept the call to adventure, and things will smooth out from there, okay? Then you'll break into your act 2, as the narrative would say, right? Or narrative philosophy would go. Then you're in the meat of things, okay? Of successes and triumphs. So that is your reading for today, pile number 2. I hope that you liked it and most of all that it resonated and helped you. If so, please like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so already. And as we always say on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 2. Hello there, my beautiful pile number 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading today about what you're breaking free from that you don't even know yet. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Perceptive as your pile leader. Now, there's 2 keywords with this particular card, and like most cards in this deck, they're very opposites. So we have oblivious versus aware. So what that tells me right off the bat as your tarot reader today, pile 3, this breakthrough is something that I almost wonder like if it's already occurred or if it's already kind of underway, but you haven't noticed it yet because so much emphasis is placed on how you're seeing things, like as we said, being oblivious versus being aware. That, or it's something that in hindsight, you're going to look back and be like, oh, well, that was obvious. But sometimes as we're going along in life towards our goals, our dreams, just living our day-to-day lives and going through our day-to-day struggles, we don't really see things when we're in the thick of them, okay? So I'm very curious to see what this particular breakthrough is about otherwise. We'll get some more context with the first half of the reading. We'll draw some tarot cards. I'm also just going to look at this a bit closer because there's so much beautiful symbolic meaning in this deck. And it's interesting because her body is made of the ocean, and there's so many emphasis symbols of moons, which, you know, moons tend to represent, well, monthly cycles or like cycles of life. It also tends to represent our intuition, things coming to fruition, waxing and waning, the different waves of life, kind of like even like the waves on the ocean, things coming in, things coming out, tides turning, things changing, okay? So I wonder if it's almost, you know, kind of, you remind me of pile 2 a little bit today because of that, because they had, I mean, their main card was intuition, right? You're kind of similar where I think maybe you already understand, or deep down on a subconscious level, you intuitively maybe kind of know what this is or what's coming in terms of the breakthrough, but it's like you don't believe in it yet, or you're just not seeing it quite clearly. Or it could also be a situation where it's a breakthrough, but it doesn't look like it. Like it might come in the guise of something else. It's a bit misleading. All right. For some reason, I'm also drawn to the terms high tide versus low tide, I think because of the ocean in this card, but sometimes things can rise faster or lower faster than you expect. Interesting. Okay, so let's grab your tarot cards. Lots of different beautiful symbolic meanings there just in that card. First up, we have the Pastoral Tarot. We'll grab this one. Spirit, anything you want to say about their breakthrough coming soon? About their perception of it? There we go. And then we'll have 5 tarot cards from Tarot of the Divine today. Speaking of moon cycles and moons, very fitting for your reading, pile 3. You know, and I almost wonder, pile 3, if it's something that you, like, you remember when I said it was something that you felt was, it was like a breakthrough in the guise of something else? I wonder if at first it made you sad or upset, but it's not what it seems. And I'm saying that because in this card she has like a tear running down from her eye. We'll see what your tarot cards say, but I'm getting a lot of intuitive messages with you today. We have how beautiful, the 10 of Cups. Now, on the surface, you know, we see familial bliss, we see happiness, we see a very picturesque scene of a family working together to pick perfectly ripe apples from the orchard. It's also the card of happy family and fulfillment in terms of emotions, being the peak of the Cup, Suit, and Tarot outside of, obviously, like the Suit court cards, right? It also can mean happily ever after in terms of relationships. I think this has to do with either your emotional fulfillment with something or a relationship with either a romantic partner, platonic person in your life, or your family. Yeah, because that's typically what that card means. Let's look at your Tarot of the Divine. Now, first up, we have the inciting incident. So this will kind of explain like what this all stemmed from, what started it. We have the 7 of Pentacles, okay? And that's often about getting things started, planting seeds. It's almost like, imagine with a metaphor for a moment, you are a farmer and you start planting the seeds to grow something. And it's just at that moment of, okay, I started this thing, now I need to tend to it. You started a relationship, perhaps. Maybe you started some new kind of goal with your family. Maybe you started some kind of new ambition in life, like starting a business, starting a new job, starting a new project for your community. Whatever has been interesting you lately, pile number 2. Especially things that bring you emotional fulfillment. I'm curious to see where this goes. In the recent past, we have... Okay, that's where the monkey wrench comes in. That's... Okay, makes sense. The Magician reversed, pile 3, is all about not being able to manifest the things that we want. Not having the resources we need to do what we want to do. I think that's what's causing the monkey wrench, as I said. You have a goal in mind, and you know it would emotionally fulfill you, but you're having a hard time getting there for whatever reason. Now, it might be material resources, hence the presence of a Pentacles card as your very first card. We'll see more, of course, with the present position card that I'll pull here in a second, but yeah. You planted your seeds, but it's like you don't have the right amount of water and fertilizer and, you know, maybe even time to attend to them. Maybe it's a goal you even had to put in the back burner, pile 3, where you feel like you've had to delay it in some way. Because, yeah, using that metaphor with the water, the fertilizer, and the time, it's like you being the farmer once again, planting the seeds, but then you thought you could commit more to it than you have the ability to, now that time has gone on. Okay, let's look at the present position, the heart of the matter. We have the Empress. Speaking of fertility and growing things, right? We have the literal card of femininity, feminine power, okay, feminine energy in tarot, which applies to both genders. Doesn't matter what gender you are, right? We all have masculine and feminine energy, in my opinion. But we have, yes, you're working hard, pile 3. And Spirit is acknowledging that. Even despite you having those setbacks with the Magician reversed, you're still working your butt off. And Spirit is acknowledging that here in the present position with Empress, okay? You're really trying to get something growing. You're really struggling, but very commendably, and it's like Spirit patting you on the back for this, you're not giving up. You're still being that nurturing, motherly, you know, speaking of all the moons that came out, because remember I said it's like, you know, the monthly cycle, you know, times of things coming to fulfillment from nothing, right? Okay, then we have feminine energy popping up again. So part of this breakthrough at pile 3 is a triumph of feminine energy, okay? And feminine energy isn't something, you know, at least traditionally that's explained as, you know, like it's not in your face. It's not something that is as prominent as, say, you know, like, you know, yang, masculine energy, okay? It's the energy of nurturing. It's the energy of softness. It's the energy of, you know, receiving rather than taking action, okay? And even, too, especially with this particular depiction, you know, we have a woman here who is praying, right? It's like she's like, I'm praying to the universe. I'm waiting to receive this emotional fulfillment, this manifestation of the goal I'm trying to achieve based on the plants that I already seeded, okay? You're like, I want that orchard, but I'm not at the point of picking those apples. But I'm believing in the process, and that is commendable, pile number 3. A lot of people at the stage that you're at would have given up. They would have been like, I'm not seeing fruition here. I'm just going to throw it out. I'm going to give up on my dream. I'm going to give up on that thing that makes me happy. But you are not, pile 3. And that is beautiful there with the Empress here in the middle, okay? That, or if you're not quite at that point yet, this is advice here in the present position. Embody feminine energy when you try to attain this goal. Expect to receive. Believe in your nurturing, even if it feels like there's nothing sprouting from the ground yet. Okay. That's another thing. Speaking of perception, I think things are sprouting that you don't even see yet. Okay, maybe you've turned your back a little bit. But when you turn your back around and you look at that thing, pile 3, you're going to find that that garden is growing a little bit more fruitfully than you thought. Okay. Now, let's get to the breakthrough part of the reading. We're going to get into the future cards here. What really is finally breaking free away from you here. Near future, we have the Four of Pentacles reversed. And that, pile 3, my friends, is all about the release of funds. It's the release of money. It's the release of material security. Once again, we have, I believe this is that a mother figure? No, I thought she was holding a baby. She's holding her niece. However, once again, we do have a feminine figure being sheltered, like she's being kind of reserved, but reversed, it's like being this thing let go, or her being let go, okay? Especially in terms of, like I said, material security, which can mean, job, finances, career. I often read Pentacles as like health and home as well, not just, the traditional, money and your job and stuff and whatnot. Part of this breakthrough is you're going to get the funds or the security that you need, that you were lacking before. Like I said, the metaphorical fertilizer, water, and time. That's going to be given to you now, pile 3, in the near future. And that's going to break you free from what's been holding you back here, okay? The universe is going to throw you a bone. I think it's already, things are starting to go that way. You're just not perceiving it yet. And then let's look at the final outcome. We have, how beautiful, pile number 3. Once again, we have another Pentacles card. I don't know if you're an earth sign. Let's see, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Lots of earth in this reading, even with the Empress. I mean, she's kind of an earth card, I would say. Ace of Pentacles is all about giving or being given a opportunity in terms of health, home, career, money, finances. You're going to be given an opportunity here, pile number 3. Funds are going to release, or security is going to release. Things are going to be given to you. And that opportunity will come into your hand like finding a penny or whatever your country's currency is on the ground. You're going to pick up that coin and be like, this is exactly what I needed. I think it's already available to you, though, pile 3. You're not seeing it yet, but you're going to see it very soon. That perception's going to change. The tides will change. The tides will turn. You're going to become aware of it. Just like, you're walking along. It's the metaphor they're showing me in terms of intuition here, pile 3, is like you walking a same route every single day, or driving a same route. I guess walking is probably a better metaphor because, you'll see why. And every single time you've walked that route, there's been a quarter on the sidewalk or coin, whatever, that you haven't noticed. But just because you didn't notice it doesn't mean that it wasn't there. And then finally you get to this point of you're walking your same route, going through the routine and the motion, and you finally look down and you're like, oh my God, that quarter has been there this whole time. And that's when you can snatch it up. And that's what helps you break free from the cage of feeling like I can't manifest this emotional fulfillment thing that I want. Okay. And there's so much lush imagery here in your reading about fertility and growing things and like garden metaphors, or I guess, orchard here. There's an orchard here. We have, corn maze growing here in the 7 of Pentacles, even the Empress is always considered associated with gardens. All of the Pentacles cards are like earthly things. There's even plants growing around the hand of the Ace of Pentacles. Just a time of lushness, of material security, a time of fruition of everything that you've been struggling and going through, okay? So please be reassured, pile 3. Things are going to work out in that area, okay? Your blood, sweat, and your tears is not for naught. All right, now let's look at your other cards. We do have 2 other decks to get to. We have the Lantern Oracle first, which, I was saying to the other piles today, a lot of people like to use this as a shadow work deck, but I love it so much I just use it for pretty much any application I can, but sometimes it's a really good advice kind of deck, like a something to improve or some sort of piece of advice for your path. And today, we have 36, Confusion. Growth hurts. Speaking of growth, we have another garden metaphor. Okay. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. And once again, we have an ocean. So you know what? Pile 3, I get it. I 100% understand. And Spirit is saying the same thing. You're on an ocean right now. Even look at the boat here in the outline of her body. You're on an ocean. You have a feeling of, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know how I'm going to get there. Okay. It's almost like being a ship, a navigator. And the storms come in. Things seem like they're not working out, and you lose your guiding stars. Like, what am I doing this for? Is this going to work out for me? How am I going to get through this? Am I going to weather this storm? Am I going to make it back to port and safe? Okay. Well, obviously the answer is yes, because we've seen that there with the other tarot cards, right? So we already know the positives, the breakthrough that, the title of the reading is all about. But specifically, this is a card of advice of, yes, Spirit acknowledges, I know it's confusing. I know you're in the middle of a storm on a sea right now, metaphorically speaking. I understand. But you're going to make it. You're going to get that light. It's almost like a lighthouse guiding you the way back to port, to safe shore and harbor. Okay. And to the messages, I'll just repeat. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through the uncertainty. Okay. This is a time of much growth for you. It's a time of learning the lesson of keeping going even when it feels like you've lost your way. Sometimes, and I wish it wasn't this way, we all do, we have to navigate through life like we're walking through a room with no lights on. We literally have to take our hand and feel our way and hope that we'll make it. That's always the risk of life whenever you try anything new, when you're trying to grow something. But Spirit is saying you're weathering this storm, pile 3, commendably. Most people would turn their boat around and just ran off, right? So it's not only, a confirmation of that working out, but the strength of your spirit as well. Okay, so think of yourself as a seasoned navigator through the storm, pile 3. The storm will clear soon. And you're going to grow a lot for it too. That's what that card means. When we're in times of uncertainty in our lives, it's because it's a learning lesson. It's because it's going to grow our soul. So you know what, pile 3? I know you're technically growing something tangibly, but I think also the 7 of Pentacles is a time that you were meant to start to grow your soul in this direction as well. Okay. So it's not just the planting of a seed in your tangible goals, it's a planting of a seed in your spirit. And then last but not least, we have, speaking of you know what, and this has happened every single reading today. I don't know what it is with the Healing Spirits Oracle today, but I'll say something earlier in the reading and then I draw a card and it's like kind of the same thing I was already intuitively picking up on, right? Speaking of uncertainty, this is what this card says. It is always okay to ask for guidance when the way is unclear. And I know we just had a whole ramble about you being a navigator and getting through the storm and everything's confusing. And I know it's really dark and you don't know where you're going right now. Things are unsteady. It feels like it, right? This is also another advice card to you though, pile 3. And also, I always read off the numbers if you're interested. Number 38, if you want some numerology, right? It's okay to ask for advice. Don't be afraid to ask for guidance from other people around you tangibly, from other people that are experienced in the thing that you're trying to accomplish. Also, because I read spiritually, don't be afraid to ask your spirit team to help you as well, okay? I don't know if maybe you just haven't been talking to your spirit guides a lot lately, or maybe it feels like they've been kind of distant, like maybe you've been trying to reach out and you're not getting much back, right? If so, I think that's also part of the breakthrough, is you're going to see more communication from them soon. I think maybe part of this lesson that you're learning with all this uncertainty, all these cards about not knowing where to go, right, was that they had to pull back to see how you would navigate on your own, okay? But that doesn't mean that they're not watching and that they're not near. But I think, if you haven't reached out to them, please do. Your spirit guides, ancestors, guardian angels, things like that, okay? Do not be afraid to seek that guidance, okay? And know that even though it's hard right now, you're going to be all the stronger and better for it once the fruition comes, okay? And two, it's interesting how you have so many earth-oriented cards, because you have a lot of cards about being at sea and not having solid, steady ground beneath you, but then all these earth cards are like, okay, that solidity is coming, just like the firm earth beneath your feet, okay? Getting to that emotional, fulfilling thing that you're trying to get, okay? So, if there's any parting advice I have for you, pile 3 today, or Spirit does, I should say, it's consider the way that you're perceiving the situation and how you might be perceiving it incorrectly, okay? What can you look at from a different perspective, okay? Also, that might be where other people weigh in, where it's okay to ask for guidance and help. Your spirit team, and as well as the people around you that you trust and you love, can also provide you different perspectives on your way, okay? They'll help you change your perception. to maybe seeing the opportunities that you've been walking by every day, or the one opportunity I'm seeing there with that Ace of Pentacles, right? Okay, and keep going. Keep that strong spirit alive, pile 3. This is commendable, that Empress energy in the present, okay? The universe heard your prayer, and the universe will answer, okay? Things will be released to you in terms of material, earthly things. That opportunity is coming. But ask for help while the way is still unclear. And don't be afraid to acknowledge the way that this particular trial has been growing your soul. Just like you're trying to grow something tangibly on the outside. Whatever that may be for you. So that is your reading for today. Lots of beautiful synchronicity and symbolism in this reading. This might be my favorite reading today. I don't know what it is lately. Pile 3s have been my favorite in terms of like the type of reading. I mean, I love all of my piles and every message that comes out, but I don't know pile 3 lately. If you tend to choose pile 3 a lot, you've been my collective of my channel that's, I don't know, you just have really poetic, philosophical readings. I love that. So anyways, I hope the reading helped you. Most of all, I hope that, you liked it and it resonated. And if so, please like the video. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to Lone Pine Tarot if you have not done so yet. And as I always say in our tradition, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day with clearer skies and, an easier way to navigate and finding that opportunity as soon as possible that you've been looking for. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3.